Greetings, Dan here, and it's the 24th of August 2022. So we've had a warm summer here by UK standards. Still is warm, nice temperatures, great for growing some of the more exotic things I've got growing here in the polytunnel. And the purpose of the video today is to show you some aubergines and peppers I am indeed growing. So on the mobile phone once again, quite busy with work at the moment, but I will be back on to the camera videos, edited videos, etc. in the future, but other than sort of disappear like I did earlier in the year for a few weeks, I'm making little mobile phone videos. So here we are. Now what we've got here, these are aubergines clearly, and this is variety Dourga White, D-O-U-R-G-A, and it's a white aubergine as you can see. So I initially planted them on the 9th of January, then I repotted them on the 6th of March, and then I transplanted them out probably mid-May time. So they've really loved these temperatures here, and some close-ups, look, you can see just how lovely they look. So when you're picking an aubergine, you want to pick it whilst it's still shiny. And the way I generally pick aubergines is, say for example this one here, look, I would snip that there with the scissors and take the whole thing in and cook it up. Another variety I'm growing, this here is long purple. So I hope you can see that. Once again, that is doing absolutely wonderful. A bit softer than the Dourga White, so I'm probably going to pick these before, but once again looking very good indeed. So when growing aubergines, you know, warmth is a very important thing. Minimum of about 25 degrees C if you can achieve it. That's about 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Over here during the day it's probably been up to over 40 degrees C, whatever that may be, 130 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. So certainly quite warm. It's taken the temperatures no problem at all. They don't like going below about 10 degrees C. So 10 degrees C would be about 34 degrees Fahrenheit. And of course that can happen earlier in the year. But seems like a long time actually since it's been anything like that round here, but you get the general idea. So soil wise, I've got them in a fertile, well draining growing medium. You can see these are growing in pots. I've not fed them once. I'm watering them every day and they've absolutely thrived, and the ones in the pots here have come into cropping quicker than the ones I've got growing in the ground, and I would expect that because quite often a plant growing in a pot feels it's under stress, so therefore wants to reproduce quicker, so it produces its fruit, etc. earlier. So it can be a way of getting earlier fruit in some cases. Anyway, peppers. So Ohnivec, this one here, lovely one. Grew these last year, really nice. They go a nice sort of orangey red when they're ready, so that's a really nice one there. Once again being grown in a pot. Very similar, if not identical, sowing dates to the aubergines, and here this is lemon drop. Picked some of these the other day, a nice yellow colour when they are ready, and really nice. We've got some more Ohnivec here, so once again another beautiful pepper. Okay, so as many of you know, I like to mix it up a little bit with my growing, so containers and ground. Very good because, you know, a bit of variety when gardening is very nice. So we'll look down here. So you may remember seeing some of my watermelons the other day. I'll show you my biggest watermelon currently. There we go, we're down there, so keeping an eye on that one, but let's stick to the subject matter. So we shall go over here and look just there. This is a Dourga White aubergine. There we go, really lovely, coming into cropping, as you could see, as I stated before, coming into cropping later than the ones in the pots. And once again, very much a good idea because you can get your cropping over a sustained period. Just little things that you can add to your gardening other than getting a load all at once. You can sort of space it out, which is good. And in fact, that's very good with regards to aubergines anyway, because even if you only have one or two plants, they generally don't set their fruit all in one go. It happens over time. So if you take this for example here, we got the crop, sorry about this, get it back into focus, we've got the crop here, but maybe at a later date there will be some more flowers which will set fruit. They may or may not in a container because of, you know, lack of resources, etc., but you get the idea. So I can demonstrate the point here. So we've got a Dourga White there, so this one will be ready first, then this one, and up here this flower might actually set some fruit as well, which is really good. So with regards to the growing of aubergines, at least to my knowledge, the majority of varieties are self-fertile, meaning they can set fruit on their own pollen. So that's really good, particularly if you're growing them under cover, such as in a polytunnel greenhouse or a cold frame. What you can do is like tickle the flower if you want with your finger, or with a paintbrush, something like that, just to help move that pollen about. That can be a good idea. But you can see the door there, look, you know, pollinating insects come in and out of here, you know, all day. I'll leave the door open at this time of year, it just gets so hot in here otherwise. But anyway, we'll have a look down here at Ohnivec peppers. So if you look at these, these look positively wonderful, and they make a good size. The actual peppers are bigger here, and they are more numerous than the ones I've got growing in the pots, which you would expect, because they can of course get more nutrition, more water, etc. from the ground. So I'm watering this every day at the moment. Thankfully we're watering the whole polytunnel every day at the moment. Thankfully, we had some rain the other day, which was absolutely great. Filled up some of my water butts, so I'm back on the rainwater, at least temporarily. So that's really good. I like to use rainwater whenever possible. But yeah, you're getting the idea here. So I've got some absolutely beautiful crops to come. And I'll show you another aubergine plant I have got. It's down here. So this is once again white Dourga. And it literally was just an overspill plant I had. Of course, I love it just as much as the other plants. And I thought, where should I put it? And I'll try it just down here, look. And I did. And there we are, we're getting a fruit down there. So it's actually very interesting, because the Dourga white, it really took, what's that? That's okay. It really took a long time to get going. The long purple aubergines got going much quicker, and I was a little bit concerned as to whether I was going to get a crop. But as you saw here, certainly have caught up. So it'll be interesting to see how these varieties do on a cooler year. Now, long purple, I actually did grow this variety last year, and we had a cooler year, and it cropped no problem at all. And this is a new one to me, so next year I'll try it again and keep trying it over subsequent years to see how it varies with the climate from year to year. So you may have remembered that I said I initially planted the aubergines on the 9th of January. So it's nice to get aubergines planted early. Of course, that can present problems. You've got to be able to get them a nice warm temperature in order for them to germinate. So you're looking at something around about 25 degrees. That is around 77 degrees Fahrenheit in order to get them to germinate. They won't germinate in cold growing medium, etc. That's very good. With regards to watering, you want to make sure you water them with tepid water if you can, and maybe in a windowsill propagator. I germinated these in an unheated propagator. I've never used heated propagators in all of the time I've been gardening, but you know, these have worked out just fine, to be honest. But nice warm microclimate. And of course, what I did, they got to about this size, I think, by around late February, March time. So of course, way too cold, wouldn't even consider putting them out here. But what I did do was during the day I did bring them out here, and at night I took them back in. But once again, you don't want to allow them to go below 10 degrees C, about 34 degrees Fahrenheit, because that really can slow the growth down. They really don't like that. So take them in if the temperature goes below 10 degrees C earlier in the year. So with regards to feeding, the ones in the pots here, it may have been wise to have fed them with something like an organic tomato feed, or maybe a little bit of wood ash, just to get a bit of extra potassium. So the potassium is very good for flower and fruit formation, whereas something such as nitrogen generally tends to be sort of more about leaf formation, etc. But you just got to be careful with regards to, you know, your growing medium, particularly if you're not going to be feeding them. I made sure that I enriched this, so there is some good quality compost I had lying about, and also I've got some manure in there, so it should be quite nutritious indeed. And as you can see, they've done very well. So yeah, anyway, how's your aubergines and your peppers and your chilies and your whatsits and whatever it is you're growing doing? Loads more to come. I've got the old bitter melons down here, grapes are going to be here soon, loads to show. I've got a video coming up pretty soon on squashes that I'm growing. Squashes are doing very well down the allotment. And yes, there we are, absolutely wonderful. And I hope everybody out there is doing well. And I shall all see you all in the next video.